an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day is like so that day was really tiring because we did like
Yep.
5 things that day.
And we were walking around a lot.
Yeah, and then the next day we woke up at 7 a.m. because it takes an hour to get to the Teotihuacan pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
So Nydia and her boyfriend Ricardo picked us up, and we drove to those pyramids. But first, because we didn't get any breakfast,
Yeah. We went out for breakfast. Went out for breakfast. We were kind of like hunting for like a streetcar that was gonna sell us tamales because we'd never had tamales before. I've seen them, but I've never had them before.
I never had like a real tamale. I mean, like tamale.
And they also had these drinks that were like
It
it was like milk with like
caramel
and milk with chocolate. It was kind of like an oatmeal flavor.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So it's like a morning thing to do, and then you could have a savory tamale, like tamale verde, tamale rojo. You got
I got one with jalapenos and cheese.
Yeah, and then Nydia got a sweet tamale. You can
she
get
had one with like berries or something mashed into it.
It was berries and cheese in the middle, and then you can get one with like strawberry and cheese in the middle.
Which one did you get?
I got the tamale verde.
The green one?
Yeah, and then you put it in, you can have it regular, and just take it out of the corn leaf wrap, or you can put it inside of like a bread.
Yeah, I think the impression that I was getting as I was watching people come up is that if you were going to eat it right there on the spot, you'd put it in the bread so that like you wouldn't burn your fingers. And then if you were going to take it to go, you'd just take it to go, and then it would cool off as you walked away.
Yeah, but so good. The bread was so soft, and the tamales were so good.
Yeah,
and,
that
like
was delicious.
Spicy, and I ate it all. And that's saying something. And then
and there was like a neat little store, and Nudie was saying that the store that we went to that was like right there at the tamale stand, like supplied like the vendors at Teotihuacan. So like it was actually cheaper for us to like go look in there than it was at the pyramids.
So that's where we got the the name is escaping me right now.
The like little pieces of obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah.
Yeah, so we were joking because of Game of Thrones. We were calling it dragon glass because that's what it's called on the show.
Volcanic.
Yeah, it's volcanic glass.
So we got a few pieces of those, which we got like the pieces that you make axes out of. That's the shape that they're carved in.
So we'll end up getting some sticks later when we go home and making little tiny axes.
Yeah. And then we got Aztec calendar, and
so we got to learn to read that calendar now.
Yeah, and then is that it? Is that all we got from there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then we had went to the Teotihuacan site, and
it kind of took us a minute to get around because like. This complex is huge. I think it must be like 2 miles across.
We had to talk about that man who took us.
Right. So like we had to like stop and get someone to tell us like which parking lot to go find. Yeah. And then they were telling us like, oh, if you go to this one parking lot, there's a guy that can do like an English tour for you, and like he showed us around like it was like sort of a gift shop, sort of a museum. Like they had like displays outside. Like they had like this big. Was it an agave plant? They said it was different than the one that
it's different than blue agave to make tequila, but it's still he was saying that the agave plant was the most important plant in ancient times for the Aztecs because they used it to make paper. Once the plant had grown to 7 years old, they would hollow out the inside of it and make like this.
They'd use it as like a brewing pot.
Yes,
where they would like brew tequila, but also there was like another one that was lower alcohol, where the alcohol was just like purifying water, basically.
Yeah, it's like 5% alcohol. Yeah, and it was like water that was like maybe disinfectant.
Yeah. So it was like cucumber water, basically. Yeah, I mean, it was like a different flavor of herby water, but it was basically cucumber water.
He had showed us about how with the agave stem, a layer on the front of the stem and a layer on the back of the stem used as paper, and they would write messages on it. And
you could peel it just like right off the plant, and there's like paper right there.
Yeah. And then obviously like this was like wow for me because this is like
if you sort of like,
I love to sew. So the sharp part of the agave, the top of the agave plant, they would break off and then just like tear it like that, and the fibers would create like a thread, and the top of it would be a needle. So the first kind of like clothes that they would put together and like mend together, they would do with the top of the agave plant. And like, so I have an example of, oh, you want to get it?
Yeah, I can go get it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So keep talking about alcohol.
And then
the alcohol that he had inside.
Oh yeah, we were cooking as we were doing this. This is horrible. But then after that, he had brought us inside and like let us try 3 different types of tequila. The first kind was not strong at all. It was kind of similar to the first one that we had tried, where it was like less 5% or less alcohol. And then the second one was like actual tequila. We were like, woo! This is like, okay. So
yeah, there's the
look at this. So this is the top of an agave stem.
Hold it over my shirt so that they can see it.
Oh.
So like
top of an agave stem. And then he just pulled it right out, and these like really strong fibrous things, which later on Nydia's mom also said that these fibers are made to make carteras, purses.
Oh yeah, okay. So they like sew leather together. Is that what she's trying to say?
Like use these fibers to like weave and make purses.
Nice.
But yeah, this is like super cool. Very very cool thing. Very resourceful. I love it. Yeah. And but we tried those tequilas. I'm on the second tequila. Second tequila was like actual tequila. It burned.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
The third tequila was used as a digestion thing, and it was
almost like a smoky bourbon. It was kind
smoky.
Of. Yeah, it was really good.
But it was tasty. Like, and then after that, we finally got to the Teotihuacan, the pyramid they sold.
Well, they also had those dogs there.
Oh yeah,
the like hairless dogs that they have in Coco. Apparently, that's like a spirit dog. Or like a sacred animal for them.
It's a Xolo, XOLO, but it's like it's a really long name for it. But the nickname is Xolo. And then the hairless dogs, and they were sacred dogs and like guardians of the area in general.
There were. I mean, just in the pyramid area alone, there were a lot of dogs. Like, we probably saw like 20, 30 dogs wandering around the pyramid.
Yeah.
But I mean, they weren't those kind of dogs. They were just regular dogs.
They're just regular dogs. But the Xolos are like the Mexican dog. Like, they're native to Mexico. And then what else?
Oh yeah, and then we climbed up that pyramid, and that was no joke. Those stairs are steep.
Very steep stairs, and so I have little experience with pyramids because I did get to go to Egypt, and I think that the overall energy of like the pyramid was the same. They're a little bit different, like in fashion, and then also the Mexican pyramids, or at least the ones in Mexico City, are solid. And it didn't have like a lot. They don't have any.
I think the feathered serpent one had some inside stuff, but we just couldn't get to it.
But the pyramid they sold was completely solid, which is different than the
it didn't have any like compartments
in
inside of it.
Yeah, because the pyramids in Egypt had compartments, but these pyramids were completely solid, which to me meant that it was different than being a burial. I think their burial ground was separate from the pyramid.
I think another thing that was different is that a lot of the signs were saying that like when these pyramids were in their height, there was actually like wooden structures built on top of them, and they did ceremonies inside of the wooden structures.
Right. Yeah.
So like this was like slightly different. This wasn't like a burial mound. This was like a thing that they performed ceremonies on top of.
Yeah. So we climbed to the top of that pyramid. It was,
yeah, it was really tall. I think we took some video of going down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then some while we were at the top. There were a lot of butterflies on top of the pyramid. That was kind of strange.
It was beautiful.
There were like little baby flowers. You couldn't even like tell if you weren't paying attention that there were even flowers up there, but they were up there.
Flowers and butterflies too.
Mm-hmm.
And then is that macaroni and cheese?
I turned it off. It'll be right.
Oh, okay. And then what happened? See, this is what I'm gonna do this week.
All right, and then a lot of the vendors that over there, that you'd hear these like calls that they had. It was like a little clay.
It's a jaguar call.
Yeah, it was like a jaguar call. So
and
like
an eagle call, and then just a regular flute.
Yeah, there was like an owl one too.
Oh yeah, an owl one.
But the jaguar one was the one that they were blowing all over.
Yeah, should we get it?
Nah, we're not gonna get that right now. But you'll see it when we come back. Yeah.
And
then we went over to.
Ooh, we got this obsidian necklace. Do you have it on?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but you go get the necklace. Okay, there's this obsidian necklace that the Aztecs would use to look directly into the sun. So you're able to look into the sun, and that's how they would view eclipses. Really, really cool thing. So we had to get that.
So it's basically like a welding goggle. So you look up at the sun.
Yeah.
And it's
super
dark.
Cool. And it's not a bad looking necklace. Look at there. Okay. And then we went to the Serpente y Pluma.
Mm-hmm.
Serpente y Pluma.
It's a smaller pyramid. I think it's got a lot more damage on it, but it also has a lot more sections that are preserved. So there were like statues coming out of the side of it with like little dragon faces or jaguar faces.
Yeah, and to get there we had to walk I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Street of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because this place is also kind of like a burial ground. Like they weren't buried inside of the pyramids or anything, but they were buried around the pyramids, like the people that they would sacrifice and the people who just like naturally died. And then after that we went to the
there was like a museum there.
Yeah. Well, we went to is that the place the serpent and pluma or feather, is that where the heads were?
Yeah, that's where the heads were.
Okay.
And it was interesting because we're not sure if they built the section that we saw it from after they like tried to fix up the pyramids or not. Because when you go to the feathered serpent temple, there's like the temple, and then there's like a wall here, and it's like almost like an auditorium thing where you can sit and look. And so we weren't sure if that was built after or if that was built like for the purpose of the pyramid. Like some dude would stand on top of that one and talk to the people in the auditorium, or if it was just like to view the sections of the wall.
Ouch, cat! No, don't do that to our. Hey, move, kitty.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh shoot, he likes it a lot. Thank you. Move, kitty.
Okay. Cat problems. But yeah, so that had like a neat little amphitheater thing to it.
Yeah, then we went to the museum and we saw a bunch of artifacts and we saw like different ways that they would bury their dead.
A lot of the ones they were sacrificing, they had their arms like tied behind their backs when they buried them.
Yeah, and then the teeth that we saw, they weren't actually teeth though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nydia told me that they weren't teeth. They were shells that were carved to look like teeth.
So they'd have these like chest plate things that were like necklaces, where it'd be like a circle like this, and then off the corners of it, it would look like jawbones.
Yeah.
But I guess it was like synthetic jawbones. Not real jawbones.
Yeah, they weren't synthetic. They were
rocks.
Yeah, they were
rocks or shells or something.
Shells. Yeah, they were shells carved into to look like teeth. The jawbones were real. The teeth weren't real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then after that, we thought that we were gonna climb the Pyramid of the Moon, but we were like, we were really tired.
It was
quite a long walk. Yeah, we were there for hours. So we went back closer into like the mainland, and we went to this market, which 31 minutes. This market, which also had a restaurant inside, and it was called Pepez, Pepez, and pescado is fish in Spanish, but Pez means fish that has been cooked that you're going to eat. So it's called Pepez. Play on words. I liked it. Pepez. And we got some good food from there. It was like this shrimp soup. It was like tomatoes and carrots and potatoes and like whole shrimp inside, and tostadas with marlin fish and tomato and avocado, and of course fried rice. And then they had this rice dish with plantains on top.
Yeah, those plantains were really good.
The plantains were the bomb. And then
they had some pineapple drink there that was like sort of foamy.
Oh yeah.
It didn't fizz. It was just had like a thick layer of foam on top. That was really good. It was almost like a lemonade, like pineapple lemonade.
Yeah, we had lime water, which is like limeade. Mm-hmm. And then we had that pineapple drink, and I think it's because it's like more authentic. Like it's not pineapple mixed with a bunch of other things. It literally is like smashed up pineapple and like squeezed, like
probably, yeah.
So it was thick and really sweet and good. And then after that, we went to Nydia's parents' house.
Yeah, and her parents are sweet.
Her parents are so sweet.
Yeah, they didn't speak English, so it was like speak English. I was mostly quiet that time, so this was kind of a test for her Spanish to like to see how well she was doing.
Yeah.
And she got a compliment.
I did. I got a compliment from Nydia's dad. And he's like, I can understand you. Not that I speak good, not that I speak perfect Spanish or anything, but the words that you are saying, I can understand them.
Yeah. So that was good.
And I was like, yeah. And Nydia's mom her hobby is sewing as well. So she showed me some of the things that she had crafted. And she had showed me this, it's called a tortereo. It's to keep
tortillador?
No, that's wrong.
No,
it's tortillero.
Tortillador is the box.
Yeah, it's a tortillero.
Okay, yeah.
A tortillero.
It's like an oven mitt.
And it looks like an oven mitt, but it's to keep your tortillas warm. And then she had shown me this dress she had made for her son's wedding. And like some pillowcases she had made. She's a really good like embroidery
she had like a little book that she had like hand stitched together. It wasn't even a book. It was like fabric that made it look like a book.
Yeah, it's fabric that made it look like a book. And then each page of the book was like the name of the stitch, and then the name of the stitch in Spanish. No, the name of stitch in English, the name of stitch in Spanish, and then like a little like example of how the stitch is used. So it was really cool. And then at the end, she ended up giving me the tortillero. I was like, oh! So that's definitely gonna be a keepsake.
And then her dad was kind of telling us like a little bit about Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cinco de Mayo is something completely. One, they don't even celebrate Cinco de Mayo down here. It's not Mexican Independence Day at all. It's an important battle between the French, but it's not like this like super important thing.
So I think what he was saying is that like
the French population,
the French were fighting the Mexicans, and they were like disorganized for a while, and then
the Mexicans were disorganized for a while.
Right, and then there was like a hero figure, I can't remember his name, who like organized all the Mexicans together as one force for that day. Yeah. And like he brought in some like military people from other areas, and they all fought off the French and kicked them out.
And then it so happened that the weather was bad that day, and the French couldn't navigate around this like type of weather, but the Mexicans could, and then they ended up winning. I think the most significant part of this is that population of the French had stayed down here, and then they had mixed with a Mexican population and created this like specific look of people down here. So like if these people, if a person looks this way, they know that they're from that small population of French people that stayed down here in Mexico. But then, so we had hung out with her parents for a little bit, and that was really special. And then we went home. And then today we thought we were going to have a lazy day, but then we went to the mall, and this mall was ginormous. The biggest mall we've ever been to.
It was at least 5 floors, and then like we went outside, and like we went like up the street like 20 feet, and then there was like another like 2-3 floors to the mall. This mall was huge.
So big. So it's Santa Fe Mall.
So there's like a neighborhood around here that's called Santa Fe, like not to be confused with the American city Santa Fe.
And this is where a lot of like corporate people work.
So there was like a lot of skyscrapers and stuff. It was like a very, very upscale neighborhood, very modern.
Lots of Asians live in this
some ways,
area.
it was a lot more modern than Cincinnati.
Yeah, it really was.
Like they had like escalators inside. Like okay, so in the mall
was a huge grocery.
There was a supermarket in the mall, and like that had 2 layers to it, and you could go up an escalator with your shopping cart. And they had like electrical outlets in the parking lots for your electric cars to charge.
Yeah.
They had an ice rink in the basement for skating.
They had this place called what was a Kidland place?
Oh yeah. So it was like a playground sort of thing
for the kids. It's so cool. It's like I wish we had this in Cincinnati for kids, but it was a place where they would mimic places to work.
Yeah, so they would have like little sections that were different jobs, and I think Nidhi was saying there was an airplane one for Interjet. There was a one for like
you could work
at a pizza shop.
Yeah, you can work at a pizza place.
There was like a bank, I think.
Yeah, so
the like kids, all these little places.
You could work at a hospital, so kids could play doctor. There were places where you could pretend like you were cooking and all that stuff, and then you could earn fake money to buy things in this Kidland area. So cool.
Yeah. She was saying it was a franchise, so like we might be able to find it in other places.
In Japan is where she said we could find it.
Okay.
Something Zania, something Kid of Zania or something.
We'll have to post it in the comments or something.
Such a cool place. And
then we got some frozen yogurt.
We got frozen yogurt. I got to buy Michelle Obama's book in Spanish.
That's for you.
We went to the Apple Store. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. We went to the Apple Store and we spent like an hour there.
This was the highlight. Yeah, we went to the Apple Store, and because Nydia and her boyfriend like to go to the Apple Store and take free classes for apps that they like, and we got to take a class, and it was all in Spanish. So that was a really good time for me to be able to listen to directions and things in Spanish. We learned how to use the app Procreate. And we learned how to use another app that's that architects use to.
Yeah, it was sort of like something that had like a perspective grid lines. It would help you draw straight lines.
Yeah, so it would help architects draw buildings. It also helped like fashion designers do things and helped.
So basically, we have to buy an iPad now.
Yeah, so now we have to buy an iPad, and
and now we're chilling at home. So we're relaxing. We were gonna watch Game of Thrones, but it doesn't cast to Mexico. You can't get it any type of way unless you want to pay for a VPN to steal it or something.
And that's absolutely insane.
So we're not gonna.
So they're defying the Mexican population of Game of Thrones and HBO in general. So we're mad.
Yeah.
We wrote a letter. And then last thing, we went across the street to get some beer because we're like on the inside now, and we're like gonna wash clothes and all that stuff. And so this all happened in Spanish, but I really don't feel like doing the brain power to say it in Spanish. We had bought these 6 Modelos, and afterwards we're like, oh, we can just carry them in our hands because we live right across the street. And this lady would not let us leave without a bag. She was like, you will not leave here and hold those beers in your hand. You will not go outside. Yeah. Like, you will not do that. And we're like, no, it's okay. We live on the street. We live across the street. We live here. So
she was like, all right, you don't want a bag? I'm going to give you a box.
Yeah,
like, here's a box.
She was like, gringos, you need this, because if you walk outside of this place and have those beers in your hand, something's going to happen. So we put those beers in this box. So towards the end, I was like, okay, just forget it. Just put this beer in the box.
We just took it. I mean, we're literally like across the street from them, but whatever. Yeah. So now we're chilling.
The end. Oh my God, 40-minute video.
Okay, bye.